What was your kind of first impressions when you got the script? Like, what was like literally the first thing you're like, really? Or was it just what was your kind of like?
No, that's the thing. Like, it's really well written. Like, we read a lot. Like, so we both read a lot of bad scripts where you're like, you know, and this immediately was like, this is written by people who can write and have like amazing ideas, and it was really funny, and I loved the premise kind of immediately.
And you know, we know that the Danos can do music videos, and which is what kind of kickstarted their career. How did you know that they were going to be feature film directors? You know, what was it about their kind of vision that you felt, yes, this is going to be a good experience for you?
Well, you know, one, I mean, I think you see their stuff and like only they could make their stuff, which I think is sort of like the most exciting kind of filmmaker. You know, like a lot of our favorite films, it's because only that person could have made it. So they have like a true point of view that is theirs. And you know, you talk to them, and like if you get to meet them, like they're good guys, and you know they knew what their film was, and we could tell that probably pretty quick just talking to them.
Has it been interesting to kind of see the reaction from audiences who walk away and they're quite moved from it? I don't know if people know that that's what they're getting when they're going to a film like this. They're not quite. So what is your kind of? Have you talked to fans of the film who are just like, what?
You've done more. You've sort of done some direct Q&As after screenings.
That's like the greatest thing, because that is something that we certainly strived for, you know, while we were sort of out there in the woods, you know, trying to make something that is like super funny, totally willing to just go out there into, you know, into the orbit of comedy and ideas, but that also, you know, can move people. So it's been great.
It must have been an interesting set because budgetary and the fact that everybody really kind of stepped in to do more than probably what they were signed up for. And so what kind of environment is that like for you to be on something so collaborative and so hands-on?
It was amazing. I mean, I think there's a really unique, this was a very unique set because the Daniels, the directors, have worked, like everyone on that crew has either worked with them for years on music videos or they went to college together. So there's no hierarchy. There's none of that sort of nonsense. And it's just, and as you say, everyone is there to, I mean, particularly, I always feel like I have to mention the art department on this film because like they were just in the woods, and like that bus wasn't like built in a studio and then made outside. Like they built it out of stuff they found in the woods. Like, and yeah, so that sort of the collaborative spirit on this was amazing. And it couldn't, like, we shot an action movie in 24 days. Like that you got, and you don't do that unless everyone is pitching in.
And then because everybody's pitching it, how does that kind of reflect onto your performances, and how do you kind of pitch into, like, did you, when you're not acting, did you help build things too? Like, how does it kind of, you know?
I don't think I helped build anything because I can't build anything. What I mean, yeah, like, I feel like we were definitely, like, we were with each other the whole time.
Yeah. It's about, like, going for it just all the time, 24/7, and, you know, that's contagious, so you receive it and you gotta give it, and, like, it's super fun.
Because of the physicality of both of your roles, how much time did you spend kind of together in this to make sure that there was something that really made sense on screen for the audiences to kind of...
Wait, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's in the script. I mean, and we would, like, if there was a big physical sequence, we'd sort of generally, like, we rehearsed one day a week, like, before, like, the weekend before we started shooting, we'd do, like, a Sunday around the Daniels house and just block out some of the stuff. And also, like, the Daniels had doubled for us a lot in terms of, like, if they wanted to explain something, Dan Kwan would play me and Dan Scheinert would play Paul, and they'd, like, show us. So there's a lot of that, too.
I'm curious more about this you know, rehearsing, like how because it just sounds really kooky, but at the same time must be a lot of fun to kind of observe your directors also kind of play you.
Yeah.
Did they kind of bring something more to it, so then you're like, oh, maybe I should try this out when I'm playing it in my sequence?
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's for me, what was incredible, like, for me playing Manny, there was something incredible about the Daniels because they knew exactly what they wanted out of Manny at every point in the story. And as an actor, that gives you incredible freedom to just go, okay, I can just throw everything out there and the performance is going to be consistent and what they want because they know exactly what they want.
I know a lot of people are focusing on your physicality, but actually this is a very physical movie for you because you have to carry a lot of, you know, and so what was it like for you to kind of take on, I guess, an action movie in that sense then, you know,
I feel like, yeah, this was, if I could if I could do it again, I would get in shape before going to film the movie. But actually, like, there's like something you sort of like tell yourself as an actor to help get through the days. Like, everything conspires like towards the work. So like, no matter like how sore or like tired, you're like, okay, this is like going to Hank somehow. Like, he's tired. Like, just, you know, you're supposed to somehow find a way. So I think it all worked. Yeah, it was a crazy shoot. I mean, it was fun, but it, you know, everybody was firing on all cylinders, and I think pretty spent by the end.
In a way, this is a celebration about friendship between two guys, and you know, one doesn't really dead, but like it is a. Can you maybe tell me more about what was your takeaway from this? Because I'd maybe have a different version from what you guys are, since you're so in it. You know, like.
No, I mean, I think it's about friendship, and then I think Daniel Kwan talks about, well, both the Daniels talk a lot about the idea that shame is what keeps us from love and from being able to love people or being loved. And so a lot of the movie is about just like I think for me, like accepting the weirdness within, and yeah.
Yeah.
And also the same for you then, or is there a little bit?
I think so. I mean, I'm glad that everybody might, you know, kind of grab onto something different, because I think there's a lot there, and I think you should, you know, relate to it in your own way. But yeah, I think there's a lot about just sort of like learning to live and love, and I feel like there's like a sense of wonder to the film and sort of a childlike spirit that I think is really important for like adults to still embrace in ourselves.
Yeah, it really is like I feel like it's a celebration of as much of life as we can possibly fit into 90 minutes.
Because it's so. I was like, this is magical. Like at some scenes, I was like, this is magic. And so to be able to act in a magical kind of world, you've had experience in the past, but I'm just curious, like
well,
what?
It's very different.
Yeah, it's super different. But I'm just curious, like what makes it so? Because it's so hard to translate that from what you read versus what you kind of. So how do you think they managed to create this environment where you really were inspired to do the performance that you guys? Because it's the sets are amazing. You know, like I'm just curious what it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I saw another one.
No, but it is. It's great. Sorry, do you want to feel that?
For me, you know, I think being excited and taking risk, like, just kind of stoke some kind of fire. And, you know, I think we were all really in it together. So we very collaborative. We all really had each other, including crew, you know, everybody. And, you know, I think that inspires like a certain sort of spirit that can help come into the work. So it's our job to like do our best, you know, but there are times when, you know, everything sort of works together and breathes together, and you all are really loving what you're doing, and you feel, you know, the sort of magic.
Okay, so that was for TV. I'm still sitting on to do some